Hello Motorrider World fans, and welcome to this latest episode of Talking MotoGP, where we're going to have a look at the fourth team that has just launched their 2023 campaign. It is of course Pramac Racing, the Ducati team, the factory-backed Ducati team, the only satellite team that's running two factory motorcycles with their two riders, Jorge Martin and Johann Zarco. So it's going to be a big season again for this team. They've exceeded expectations for many years now. They've been the top satellite team. I don't really think you can call it a satellite team. They do get a lot of support from Ducati, but they've been producing the goods. They've done a fantastic job. I've always loved the look of the Pramac Ducati bikes, the liveries. Not much has changed compared to last season, but it didn't have to. It looked so good. Remember, they started last season off a little bit more plainer, and then they got that Prima sponsorship, and that's added that nice flashes of purple in that, and they've kept that same kind of livery, but love it. Absolutely love the livery, the style, how the teams run. It really is an enjoyable team. It's a great team to have a part of the championship, and I think they're going to have another fantastic season. They're going to be right up there pushing the factory boys on their factory Ducati machines. But it's going to be a big season for both of their riders. We'll start with Johann Zarco. He's now entering another season in MotoGP. He's been there a very long time now as Zarco, and a big question mark over his future. This could be his final season in MotoGP to really prove himself. He's had 6 seasons in the MotoGP paddock now, and he hasn't picked up that all-important win, which is crazy to think that Johann Zarco has not won a MotoGP race. He's always up there mixing in, having great qualifyings, but he's just not able to get that win. If you think like his teammate, Jorge Martin's already had a win as a rookie. Brad Binder had a win as a rookie. You know, Bastianini had a win. All these riders that have had wins, and here's old Johann Zarco, and I say old Johann Zarco now because one of the oldest riders in the paddock now. He will be turning 34 years old this year. So it really, you know, it's time to prove his worth, because he's on that factory spec Ducati. Look, he's got more of a testing role within that team. He certainly is a factory-backed rider and go win races and potentially go for the championship. But he is also a test rider in many ways in racing conditions for Ducati within that team. So he might, you know, at certain weekends get different parts thrown at him that he'll have to test. So that's just a role that he's going to have to accept going into this new season. I think that was part of Ducati keeping him, you know, a current fast rider, developing the bike in race weekends, you know, at race-winning pace. I think it's a brilliant move from Ducati. I think it's a brilliant move for Johann Zarco in his career to still be competitive, still be in there, still be racing competitively, but also doing this kind of test role in racing conditions. So going to be interesting to see how he handles it and how much Ducati actually throw at him throughout the season, and where he's going to finish. If you look back, the last 2 seasons, he was 5th overall in the championship in 2021, 6th in 2022. But yeah, again, no win. His best chance at win. Cast your mind back to when he came into the MotoGP Championship in 2017 as a 2-time Moto2 world champion. And, you know, he led so many races. How he did not win a race that season, that's still when, remember, he was on the Tech 3 Yamaha. That was when Yamaha was at its best. But yeah, how he didn't win a race that season, I don't know. He finished 6th in that championship. He had 3 podiums but no wins, and in 2018 he backed it up with another 6th place finish, again with 3 podiums. In 2022 he had 4 podiums but no wins. So Johann Zarco is a rider that's going to have to do a lot to keep himself in that spot, because as I said, it's a factory Ducati ride in a very well-run team, a race-winning, podium-getting, championship contending, proven team that is at Pramac Racing. They've been around for many years now, and yeah, there'll be a lot of riders looking at that ride if things don't go the way they want in their current team. So Johann Zarco with a target on his back, and he's just, I'm sure he's desperate too. I would love to see Zarco get that one. He's a great guy, great rider. Would love to see that backflip, that famous backflip celebrating a victory in MotoGP there for Johann Zarco. So let's see what kind of season he can put together in that Pramac team on a factory spec GP23 Ducati machine. Alongside him is Jorge Martin. Now, this is probably the biggest talking point, one of the biggest talking points heading into the 2023 season. Jorge Martin, it was well documented last year that he's not happy that he was overlooked for the factory Ducati ride. He was, in his own words, promised that Ducati ride, factory Ducati ride, by the powers that be at Ducati, only for them to do a U-turn and go with the better option, in my opinion, and everyone else's opinion, and in Ducati's opinion. Anaya Bashini, who was getting better results, more consistent. Yes, Jorge Martin is ridiculously fast. He got 5 pole positions last year. He got 4 pole positions in his rookie season. He won 1 race in 2021, his rookie season. He finished 9th in the championship there. 2022, he finished 9th again, 4 podiums, no wins, but again 5 pole positions. So we know the speed of Jorge Martin. What he still has to prove is the maturity, the consistency of Jorge Martin. If you look at some of his rides where he had definite podiums or finishes on the cards, he would throw it away, or he would throw away potential podium rides finishes because he was going flat out, going for that win. So he needs a little bit of a mental shift. He had, he still does have the odd crash in him. He had that big crash in his rookie season, 2021 Portimao, that really did shake him. If you watch the documentary, the MotoGP documentary, it did shake him. And he says there were lots of times where he sat there, telling Fonzi Nieto, his team manager in Pramac, that he was scared and nervous. And so I think he's got to get all of that a little bit more under control to really be able to challenge for a world title, to really be able to prove that he is a top contender. We know he's a top contender for pole positions and podiums, but he needs to be a top contender for that overall championship. The big question, going back to why he is a big topic for the 2023 season, is because he was overlooked by Ducati. What kind of mental state is he in? There's 2 ways of looking at it. The first way is, right, I'm going to go out and prove to Ducati that they made the wrong choice, and I'm going to go win this championship, win races, beat Anaya Bashini, beat Pecco Bagnaia. They're 2 blue-eyed Italian riders in that factory team. That is one way, and that's probably the way he should be looking at it, because he should be looking at staying on a Ducati for as long as possible, because for the foreseeable future, that is the machine to be on. But there's this big rumor that's come out that he's already in talks with Lynn Jarvis and the factory Monster Energy Yamaha team to potentially replace Franco Morbidelli for 2024 onwards and be alongside Fabio Quartararo. There's a lot to back this rumor, because this is the other way that Martin can look at it. He's very upset. He is very, very, very upset and annoyed with Ducati that he was not put in those factory colors, and this could be a way at getting back at them. He said all along he wants to be in a factory team, and I can understand Ducati's argument, saying, well, you're not in the factory team, but you've got a factory bike, you've got a factory contract, you're getting paid the exact same as Anaya Bashini, and but it's still not good enough for Jorge Martin. He wants to be in a factory team as a number 1 rider in a factory team, and Yamaha are offering him that. Ducati at the moment still can't offer him that. Depending on what happens with Pecco Bagnaia and Anaya Bashini, no doubt that Jorge Martin is potentially next on the list, but there's also the rumor that Marc Marquez, if he doesn't get what he wants from Honda, he'll make himself available. Then, Ducati make a space for him in the factory team and push Anaya back into the Pramac team, or does Mark happily go into the Pramac team and potentially become the first rider in a satellite team since Valentino Rossi to win a MotoGP World Championship? There's just so many question marks behind Jorge Martin and what could potentially happen with him. Honestly, I think it'll all depend on how Yamaha improve over the season. I think Martin won't commit anything for at least 3, 4, 5 rounds potentially to see if Yamaha have been able to improve the package. He would be crazy to go sign a deal with Yamaha already, not knowing how good the package is, because they were very far behind in many ways to Ducati last year. It was Fabio Quartararo just dragging them along, although Jorge Martin is that cocky, confident young man that could potentially think, well, you know what, I'll take the Yamaha no matter how it is, and I'll go challenge on it and beat Ducati and show them what they missed out on. These are the big questions that need to be answered for Jorge Martin and Ducati, and Pramac Ducati in many ways for the 2023 season. Just makes it more exciting, hey? We want questions that need answering. If there weren't any of these questions or sagas or anything, it would just be plain boring old racing. But this is what adds to the flavor that is MotoGP. Of course, there's the Toprak Razgatlioglu situation for Yamaha. Do they take him? Loyal, winning a World Superbike Championship for them. If he could back it up this year, certainly he would look at deserving that. But he's also said he wants a factory ride in MotoGP. He doesn't want to go into any other team. So do Yamaha overlook him to go for Martin? There's so many things that could play out here. But either way, it is going to be a big season for both Johann Zarco and Jorge Martin in that Pramac Ducati team. Also because they've got no excuses. They're on the exact same motorcycles as the current champion, Pecco Bagnaia and Anaya Bashini. So whatever they do, Zarco and Martin are expected to do the same, if not better. So even though they're in the satellite team, it doesn't necessarily come with as much pressure as being in the factory team. If they don't go beat Anaya and Pecco, they're in a satellite team. But people forget it. I don't know if we can use that satellite team with Pramac because of the amount of support that they get from Ducati and the fact that their riders are on 2 factory spec bikes. So another big season for Pramac, another big season for Ducati, another big season in MotoGP. Cannot wait. Again, love the livery that Pramac have brought out. The question marks concerning their 2 riders, I'm sure will be answered before halfway through the year already. I think Pramac and Ducati would want an answer, and Yamaha would want an answer on Martin and his future, before halfway through the season. That's if Franco Morbidelli doesn't go, smack us all in the face and become the rider that he was in 2019 and just blow us all away and potentially win the championship. Then what do Yamaha do? Then Martin has to be happy with potentially staying in the satellite team again for 2024. So many questions, but they will be answered very, very soon. So I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Talking MotoGP. Up next is a little bit of bias from myself, being a South African and a massive Brad Binder fan. Up next is the Red Bull Factory KTM team launch. That'll be out tomorrow. So keep a lookout for that, and we'll check out Brad Binder in his new colours, and of course Jack Miller, a new teammate there for Brad Binder heading into the 2023 season. But check out the Motor Rider World Facebook page. We've got some really cool content on that launch already up, and we've already put a couple of interviews from that launch up on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to that, like this video, share it, share the Motor Rider World word as far and wide as possible, and I'll catch up with you in Talking MotoGP Red Bull Factory KTM.